Yeah, if you watched that, good for you. If you didn't, even better, because that sucked so much. I don't want to talk about it, but we're going to review it. We're going to get into it a little bit. Oh, my God. We were asking so much of this side the entire time. We were looking forward to it, right? Make a statement, big game, big opportunity to show it on the biggest of stages where we faltered last season. And it's like the same thing happens. Eric Garcia, red card 10 minutes in. There's basically contact. There's a little bit of contact. And then they're holding each other. It's a bad ball from Ter Stegen. And Minamino is the attacker. They're holding each other. And then there's contact, but he throws himself to the ground here. He's got both feet ahead. And he just lets himself go. He just falls himself. That's all I'm showing. If the copyright checks this video, so be it. It should take too long for them to do it. It on paper, he's last man, but Kubarsi was right there. Ter Stegen was 10 feet away, and Inigo Martinez was right there. Is it a clear goal-scoring opportunity? Probably, but also they're both holding on to each other. There's not a ton of contact with the legs. It's not like that Araujo tackle, last year. It's not the same thing. And Minamino drops himself after he realizes that, in my opinion, Ter Stegen can get the ball. Whatever. I don't think it's a red card. I at least think the ref should have looked at it. Clearly, VAR thought differently and didn't. Whatever. At least VAR came in to play later on in the match. We'll get into that later. But that set the tone for the match. The press was gone after that. They couldn't do anything. They made Monaco look like the best team in the world. Monaco looks like Barcelona's been playing all year. It was a joke. And it was incredibly easy for them to play. There was no press from Barca. There was no real ability in the back line to win the ball off the forwards for Monaco either. Was it because Monaco were so good, or was it because we weren't? It's a little bit of both. Probably having Eric Garcia there to help press and just give us another man in the defense probably would have helped. I don't think this would have been as easy, seeing how decent their forwards were at just holding on to the ball. I think if Eric Garcia there, it's still going to be a struggle, but that is just, it set the tone for the rest of the game and made it a fight the entire time. Again, we'll get into a little bit more how it went in a second, but we'll get into the player ratings first. Ter Stegen, I'm going to give him a 4 because he made a bunch of saves, but that ball, the penalty or the red card for Garcia is probably more so Ter Stegen's fault than it was Eric Garcia's. SofaScore gave Ter Stegen an 8 because he made a ton of saves, and they're probably not directly relating the red card to him, but he waited a long time to play Garcia the ball, and he waited too long. I think it's also partially Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia gave him an option, and as the pivot, if you're giving him the option, you are making that an option for him until the very last second that he plays the ball elsewhere. Because you can't make him make a very difficult decision. Your job is to make it as easy as possible for him to get it away from that press. Eric Garcia failed to do that. He ran away the second Ter Stegen played him the ball. That caused that whole interaction that we got into a second ago. But Ter Stegen did make a lot of good saves. He also punched the ball behind him at one point. Not his best work. Also not his worst work because of how many saves he made. Let me actually see how many saves. It was a lot of them. He made 6 saves. Monaco didn't make a single one. We had 4 shots on goal. That's depressing. Moving forward, Koundé, I think he was probably the better defender out of all of them. I don't think any of them had a great game. Koundé did a pretty okay job defensively and was solid on the ball, but his problem is going forward, we don't really see a lot from him, and we really noticed that today. There were very few times that his link up with Lamine worked, especially now that they were down a man and they couldn't overload sides to open up space for either one of them. Koundé had to operate in tight spaces and he couldn't. He kind of gave away the ball too much, and it wasn't his best work. The link up didn't work with Lamine a ton. Was it him or was it Lamine? I think it was a mix of the two. 6 for Koundé. I don't think he deserves any better than that, considering. Kubarsi, I think a 6 is fair as well, just because he made a few good tackles and he deserves credit for that. He was okay on the ball at times, but I think it was just that Monaco were really good, but they could not get the ball away from Monaco. Every time their big strikers pinned them down and they couldn't win the ball off them. We haven't really seen these guys, I don't think, face some big, strong strikers, except for maybe you could argue Iñaki Williams. And so they struggled today. These guys were not much bigger than Iñaki, but they were better. They did a really good job against Kubarsi and Inigo. They made them look small, and they are smaller. And both Kubarsi and Inigo were smaller than all of the strikers today for Monaco, and that showed. I think 6 for Kubarsi, 6.5 maybe for Inigo. Now he also had a penalty called on him that was taken away because VAR intervened, thank God, because it wasn't a pen. Basically, Inigo stepped in front of the striker just in time for the striker to try to take a shot. The striker goes down. It was Balogun. That was initially called as a pen. When you looked at it, it wasn't because Inigo got his foot in front of Balogun's, thank God. But Inigo also shoved one of the defenders from Monaco, and he went down really easily. The ref was calling everything. I'm really frustrated right now, in case you can't tell. The ref was calling everything for Monaco, and he was just very soft today. I think it was a very bad performance from the ref. Whatever, that happens. It is what it is, but it was very unfortunate for us. If I'm going to be totally honest, I don't think that was totally fair. I think it got a little bit better, but again, only 6 added minutes was terrible too. This game, there was so little football played in the second half. It was wild. The substitution windows took forever. The Monaco players held the ball, and there was not a single yellow card given out for time wasting. It was a mess. But whatever. Alejandro Balde only had 13 passes on the day. He made, I think, one solid run or two solid runs where one actually could have led to something, but it just didn't end up happening. He dribbles around a couple guys, makes some space for himself, and then nada, niente. It doesn't go anywhere. And same story. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I think he wasn't the outlet we needed him to be the entire time. He didn't get that final ball in well enough. Eric Garcia, a -4. I actually am so mad at you. He did nothing. I nothing of note because he got kicked out of the game 10 minutes in, and it's not entirely his fault, but he didn't do anything good, and it was partially his fault. So I bad job. Marc Casero, I thought he was better. I thought he was okay. He had the only intensity on the pitch for the first half, except for Rafinha probably, and so probably deserves like a 6.5, a 7, maybe. Was fine. Was probably better on the ball in the second half. Played the entire 90, did his job pretty well, and had some intensity. Was fine. Lamine Yamal scored a great goal. I'm gonna give him a 7. He also struggled to take some guys on. Because of the numerical disadvantage, they were able to double team him every single time, and he still created some spaces. Obviously scored a great goal. Yes, it was just a little off sometimes. I think it was all of them were a little flustered. The communication, the link up between most of them was terrible, and a lot of it has to do with Lewandowski too. We'll get to him in a second. Pedri next. I think he was good. There were a couple beautiful moments from him that I remember, but also he did lose the ball a lot, especially in the first half. Thankfully, he was taken out. I'm going to give him just a 6 because nothing came from those beautiful moments. But actually, no, not a 6.5. I think there were just enough good moments from him that he deserves it. I'm not saying it's all his fault. I think he was overwhelmed like crazy by guys anytime he was on the ball in the middle, and that makes his job very hard. It was so easy for Monaco every time to play against us. And, that's concerning. We can't drop back into a strong shape. I think they did that a little bit better in the second half. They were able to defend a little bit better, but not that much better. Clearly they conceded. I think it was unfortunate. Monaco were playing their high line, like trying to play a ball in every single time. And because of the size and strength of their strikers, they were able to hold them off and score. I don't know. You can ask for more from Ter Stegen on that second goal too. I'm just upset, guys. Rafinha, again, he almost had some really good chances. There was one where he almost got off a La Croqueta, and then it just missed. He was one-on-one kind of against the goalie too, pretty 40 yards out, but still. And he just missed. I think it was a good job from the keeper, but 6, maybe. These guys just don't deserve enough more than that. They tried to fight. I'm not saying they weren't trying there. It just didn't come out. None of them really were able to impress. Lewandowski, I think he was terrible. Might have linked up well once or twice. I'm going to give him like a 4.5, maybe. I think it was really just last season's worst version of Lewandowski today. They were bullying him. Salisu did a really good job handling him. I also hated Vanderson all day. I don't know. He spent a lot of time on the floor, and that was upsetting to me. But yeah, they handled Lewandowski easily. The link-up play was terrible, and I think because of the lack of a man in the middle to find his usually less than perfect link-ups, or when he tries to collect a long ball or something, he kind of just shoots it out, and hopefully there's a midfielder there to collect it, like Danny or Pedri. Today, with the lack of numbers, that was never going to happen. And he lost the ball so many times. And then the subs came on. I don't know. They were fine, I guess. I don't know. Ferran Torres brought some energy. Didn't really do anything. Sergio Dominguez was not great. He was fine again. He came in for Kubarsi. Did a fine job. What didn't look any better than Kubarsi, I'd say, against those big, strong guys. Gerard Martin looked weird on the ball. It looked a little clunky, not going to lie, and didn't look great defensively either. And they pushed Balde further forward, who didn't impress. Pablo Torre came on, who had a couple good turns and helped move the ball up the pitch a couple times, but we're so numerically disadvantaged, and I never felt like we were definitely going to get a goal back. We weren't creating enough. The attack momentum says that too. There's just so few glimpses of hope. Ansu Fati came in and didn't really get the chance to touch the ball. There was one turn that I remember that was good. Not enough of an opportunity to really see anything from him. I hope we see more from him, but that was depressing, guys. I think the ref had a shocker. I really think he came into this unprepared. I was allegedly told that it was his first match in the Champions League ever. It looked like it, whether or not it actually was. I'm trying to see if I can find his name here. He didn't do well. He called a lot of fouls. It was so soft. Great goal from Lamine to pull something back, pull some hope back. And I think we did start the second half well. I think Hansi did a good job of giving them a game plan to set up in a solid shape, be able to defend that, and try and break through, try and break out. The problem is there was really nothing going on the left side. The only thing coming from the left side was Rafinha running diagonally across the pitch. Balde wasn't flying up the pitch enough or getting into any good spaces, and it's tough for them. Monaco were playing them man-to-man with an extra man, so they were doing well. It was Monaco looked a lot better than we did, and I think Monaco would have done well against us, or would have looked decent against us, even if we were at 11, a full pitch of guys. I'm going to stop rambling. That sucked so much. Don't look at the highlights. It's not fun to watch. It was just beat us down. I think we missed Araujo here. Thank you guys for watching the second channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping over on a Tifo. I'll be live again on Sunday. It should be an easier match in La Liga. And I will see you guys there. Visca Barça, Visca Catalunya, no matter what, but I am sad and I have to go edit a video now and I don't want to do that. So see you guys later. Peace.